think the biggest thing that determines our success and whether or not we actually make progress towards our goals in life is focus. If we can stay focused on one thing and consistently take action on that goal, I truly believe that success is inevitable. So knowing this, the obvious thing to do would be to try and improve our focus. And there are plenty of ways to do this, whether it's through meditation or setting up our environment in a certain way. But I think the most impactful thing that we can do to improve our focus is actually to just remove distractions. And for most of us these days, one of the biggest sources of distraction is our smartphones. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through everything I do to set up my iPhone to ensure that my phone no longer has control over me, but instead I'm the one who has complete control over my phone and only uses it for its essential and productive functions. Now that I've dialed in this setup, I no longer get distracted by my phone, and I've completely stopped wasting time scrolling through random apps and have finally been able to stay focused and progress towards my goals in business, health, relationships, and life as a whole. So in the past, I've tried to set up my phone to be a productivity machine, and while this was definitely an improvement from where I used to be at, it was still kind of coping because it just made me want to be on my phone more and, give myself the excuse that it was okay to be on my phone because I had this nice aesthetic, productive setup. The truth is, if you've got some big goals that you're working towards, like growing a YouTube channel or a side business, you're not going to make progress and get the important work done by being on your phone. So this setup takes things a step further from my previous videos and truly cuts out all the noise from my phone and only keeps the essentials so I can focus on doing the important work, which usually takes place on my laptop. The fewest apps wins. So I think the iPhone itself isn't necessarily the problem. It's obviously been one of the most impactful pieces of technology ever created. I think the real culprit lies with the apps that we have installed on our phone. If you think about what actually causes you to get distracted by your phone, it's usually some sort of notification popping up from a certain app, or just like this weird desire to open it up so you can click on an app like Instagram or YouTube or something. So my new approach to apps on my phone is to have a little competition with myself to see how few apps I can actually keep on my phone at a given time. At this point, deleting social media apps should honestly be a given. You know they're bad, you know they're holding you back, you don't need to have them, you're not going to miss out on anything, and if you truly do need to post for your business or something, you can download the app, post, then delete it again. So if you're truly serious about achieving your goals in life, business, or whatever it is, and you haven't already deleted social media from your phone, you'll pause the video right now and just delete these apps entirely. Seriously, do it right now. Okay, so now that you've deleted social media apps, we can start to look through the other apps that you have on your phone. So how do I decide which apps to have on my phone? Well, first I'll think about my overall goal in life, which right now is to grow my YouTube channel and business. Then I'll think about all the potential situations and ways that I could use my phone and pick out the ones that are either truly essential or positively contribute towards me achieving this goal, and then keep all of those related apps on my phone. And then any activity that doesn't positively contribute towards my goals or isn't something that I 100% need to be able to do on my phone on the go, I'll delete any of those related apps. Then basically I just set some rules for myself and decide, okay, what are the things that I will use my phone for and what are the things that I will not use my phone for? There's no sort of middle ground. And then I implement this mindset where I basically imagine that I can only physically use my phone for those very specific activities, and everything else that I eliminated just simply isn't an actual function on my phone. Kind of a weird way of thinking, but it works for me. I've seen some people comment on previous videos asking, well, why would you spend $1,000 on the latest iPhone if you're not even going to use it? And to that I'd say, well, I do still use my phone. In the rest of this video, I'll dive in specifically how I set up my phone and all the situations that I use it for. But I think about how, well, if I had downloaded all of the apps and used my phone for all the different functions, it'd end up distracting me a lot in my life, and I'd end up paying more than just the $1,000 for my phone. I'd end up paying in my dreams and progress towards my goals in life. All right, so let's go through what I've actually got on my phone. So I know I just talked about how I've got this competition with myself to have the fewest apps on my phone, and right now, although I've got, only a few on my home screen, and I'll talk more about my home screen setup and the thought process behind that in a little bit. If you look at my app library, I still have quite a few apps. I know I'm working on it. I've been through all of it so many times and have been deleting stuff, and I still haven't been able to delete everything, but I'll run through basically what I have on my phone here and what I use it for. So the first one would be the Strong app here, and this is just what I use for my workouts and tracking all my lifts and everything. You can see I've done 583 workouts on here. So this has been my favorite workout app. I've pretty much been using this since 2017, I think. It's got, great stuff in here. Another thing I use my phone for is the Notes app. So that's a big one. And one thing I actually do, so I don't have it on my home screen, but since I have the new iPhone 15, there's a little button on the side here, which is the action button. So if I hold this, basically what it does is it just opens up a new quick note. And so I can do this at any point, you know, if I've got the phone locked and I'm just like walking around and I remember something, like some sort of idea for a video or just something I need to remember, I'll just hold this button. It'll open up a quick note. I can just type something like remember to subscribe, exclamation point, yeah. And then I can save it to my notes very quickly like that. So that's one of the main things I use my phone for. Another thing is I do have this to-do list app, Things 3. It's a pretty good app. I mean, I think a lot of the to-do list apps are kind of the same. It doesn't really matter too much. Lately, I've really just been using it as kind of an inbox for more personal tasks. So all my sort of YouTube business related tasks I'll actually do on a whole separate system. But this is for just like quick kind of errands and personal reminders. You know, like I need to go remember to take out the trash or like order some, you know, new shower head or something like that. And so for this, like I can just hold on here and click new to do, and this will add just a new to do to my inbox. And then I also have on the lock screen, oh no, never mind, I don't have it on the lock screen. I should add that right now. I don't know where it went. I usually have this widget on here where basically on the lock screen I can just click this and it opens straight to adding a new to do to my inbox. Next up, the other main thing I use my phone for is my Google Calendar. So I have that down here just at the bottom of my home screen. I can quickly add events like this and quickly access my calendar. I honestly haven't been checking my calendar too often recently because I've been using something else to kind of plan out my day on you know, a minute by minute basis, which I'll talk about more probably in another video. But I still do have my calendar for like personal events and stuff, meetings with clients and things, any sort of live calls or time sensitive events I will have on my calendar, and I can, you know, access links to meetings and stuff through there. I also do, of course, use my phone for the camera. So you can see, oh, there's me, and there is my overhead shot here. So I'll use this like obviously taking pictures or little videos, B-roll clips, or anything, you know, throughout my life that I'll use in videos and stuff. So that's another pretty common use of my phone. Other things, I do listen to music occasionally. Lately, I haven't been as much. Oh, here's this like Drake diss track that I've been listening to a lot. But I used to listen to music a lot. As some of you may know, I used to be like an aspiring music producer and stuff. Lately, I haven't been doing as much of that, but I still listen to music mainly now just when I'm in the gym. I find that makes just the workouts so much more enjoyable. And also, if you've seen my other videos, I'll talk about how I do listen to music while I'm taking a cold shower for the same kind of reason, because it makes the cold showers more enjoyable. So I'll use Spotify for that. And besides that, I also have Audible on my phone, and I'll usually listen to audiobooks mainly just when I'm driving or maybe going for a walk. I'll put on an audiobook. That's when I like to do that. So lately I've been listening to this Russell Brunson book. And I also have the Kindle app for the similar reason to read books and stuff. So I've been reading this Dan Coe book recently. I usually honestly don't read too much on my phone. It'll usually be on my actual Kindle, but if I'm really on the go, you know, waiting for someone, waiting for my food or something at a restaurant, I might just whip out the Kindle app and read on here. So I do keep it on my phone for that reason. I also keep Chrome on my phone just as my web browser of choice. I like Safari as well, but I use Chrome just because it syncs nicely with my Google Workspace stuff, and I use Chrome on my laptop. I don't use it that much. It's usually just for like a quick Google search or finding some information, although like nowadays Google search just feels not very good, so like I'll use ChatGPT and stuff instead. But yeah, I do use Chrome occasionally. So another app I use on my phone is just the Day One Journal app, and this is just something that I use to capture any sort of thoughts or feelings that I'm, you know, experiencing in a particular moment. So anytime, there's no sort of like schedule I have with this at this point. It's just when something interesting is going on. So like in this case, yesterday I realized that my YouTube channel has hit over 1 million lifetime views. And so I just opened up my journal quickly and wrote that down because I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. And, you know, it would be nice, you know, in a few months, years from now, to look back on, you know, when I hit these different milestones and stuff. So I'll use that. And again, I'll usually use this kind of haptic touch function to quickly add an entry here rather than just clicking on the app and going through the whole thing, because my whole thought process with my phone in general is to really just use it for its essential functions, productive functions, and do them as quickly as possible. So like just quickly capture a to-do, quickly capture a note or something, and do it and then get out of my phone, because I don't want to spend too much time, because it's very easy to just get sucked into something else by spending too much time on your phone. All right, another app that I have on my phone is Macro Factor, and this is just like a health and fitness nutrition logging app. So I was using this for quite a while to log what I was eating and stuff every single day, how many calories. But lately I honestly haven't been doing it. I don't know if it's because I'm too lazy to kind of log things and I never eat enough, or if it's because I've heard things from Dr. Anthony Chaffee basically suggesting how, well, if you're eating just like a carnivore diet, which I am, you don't really need to track calories. You can just kind of trust your body to tell you when you're hungry. And so I'm kind of curious to just try that out. And if I just eat, meat and stuff whenever I'm hungry, and go to the gym, see how things go. But things have been going pretty well. I've been seeing good progress with my physical health and stuff like that. So haven't been using this as much, but I do still have it on my phone at the moment. I also use the Oura Ring app. This is a health fitness tracker that I use a lot, and this is probably my favorite one. So as you can see on my wrist, I have like all the different fitness trackers. I got an Apple Watch here, I've got a Whoop strap and an Oura Ring. I got a little bit of a shiny object syndrome and bought all these different ones, or actually I was given the Oura Ring and then I bought the Whoop strap. And I still think that out of all of them, at least for accuracy and just convenience, I do like the Oura Ring a lot. So I'll use this app to see kind of my readiness score, my sleep and everything. And here you can see different trends and stuff. So one thing I've been really trying to dial in lately is just waking up at the same exact time. So you can see I've been pretty consistent here, 6 a.m. like basically every single day. Even on today's Saturday, I woke up at 6 a.m. Sunday, this might have been like a time zone change, I think. Look at this, all 6 a.m. So I've really been able to dial that in lately, and that's thanks to this Oura Ring partially. And then it just helps me get better sleep because I can actually see stats about my sleep. So like last night I didn't get the greatest sleep score, and I think it's because I had this big heavy meal. I kind of cheated on my diet yesterday, and I think that affected my sleep. So it'll really quantify things, and especially if you drink any alcohol or anything like this, your stats will just go crazy, because obviously it's like poison for you. So you'll really want to get good sleep and take care of your health and stuff after making the investment in an Oura Ring. So would definitely recommend, but this is one of the main apps that I use on my phone. I also have the Whoop app, as I said. This is another fitness tracker, and I personally it's cool. I like it. I feel like it's not quite as accurate as the Oura Ring. And so it shows quite different stats sometimes, especially with the sleep. And it does have some cool features that the Oura Ring doesn't really have, but it is kind of more expensive as well over time. I think it's more of a subscription, or Oura Ring has a subscription, but it's cheaper. This one is like pretty expensive. So I might cancel. Sorry, Whoop people, if you're watching this. If you can convince me otherwise to not cancel, I might keep it. But for now, I like Oura Ring better than Whoop. I also do have a couple messaging apps on here, mainly just to communicate with friends, family, my girlfriend, or my team video editor and stuff like that. So I will go on those. I'll talk more about like how I have the notifications and stuff set up so that it doesn't distract me, but just those are some of the apps I have. And then I also obviously use some basic things just like Google Maps and stuff for navigation, because as my girlfriend will tell me, I'm not very good at remembering where to go, so I have to use the GPS all the time. I also have, I believe, ChatGPT on here. Yes. So this is like honestly becoming a better Google for me, because Google just gives you like weird search results with like pages full of advertisements and stuff, where ChatGPT gives you just like a straight up answer, which usually in my experience, at least for basic stuff, is pretty good and right. I wouldn't necessarily trust it with like some crazy facts or anything, but I do use that. Another app I have on here is Duolingo, and this is, I know, kind of a meme app, I guess, in terms of language learning. It's controversial whether it actually is good or not. I use it honestly just for like bare minimum keeping up my Japanese level, because I'm not really focusing on, improving it as much right now. I wouldn't say that I'm like completely fluent, but I definitely don't want to lose it. And so I'm determined to, someday live in Japan, and that's when I'll kind of really get fluent in the language. But in the meantime, I just keep up my Duolingo streak so that I get at least some sort of daily exposure to the language, so I don't forget everything. Other apps that I use is a lot of just kind of the Google suite of apps. So like Google Docs and stuff is what I'll usually pull it up on my phone to read my YouTube script notes as I'm recording a video. So I'll just have it kind of next to my tripod. I'll glance down kind of at the bullet points that I've written out for the video, and then I'll speak to the camera. So I usually use my phone specifically for that. And another app I have on my phone is the School app. And if you don't know what School is, it's basically this new website for private online communities. So this is where I have my community miles ahead, and we basically connect a bunch of like-minded people who are all looking to set goals and find their direction in life, improve their productivity, time management, focus, that type of thing, eliminate distractions, optimize their health and lifestyle to just build a fulfilling and life that they love. And so I'll go on here sometimes throughout the day, whether I'm cooking my food or something, and I'll just quickly reply to some of the posts from people in the community. I'll answer DMs, just engage with you guys in here. We have other things, courses and stuff as well. I won't watch my own courses, obviously, but I'll use this to quickly be able to engage with the other members throughout the day. And I do find that it is important for me to have that accessible on my phone so that I can quickly communicate with you guys. So yeah, those are all the main situations that I actually use my phone for. You can see there are some other apps that I didn't really touch on, but most of them are just kind of like utilities that are kind of built into the phone, or things that I rarely use or just use once in a while. Like this is like the United app that I just downloaded recently because I had to take a flight. So if it's something that like I only use occasionally, like once a year or like a couple times every now and then, I'll usually just delete it right after I'm done using it so it doesn't clog up my phone or anything, because I always have that kind of competition with myself, like trying to keep the apps as few as possible on my phone. So for example, like I used to have a bunch of apps for, just various things that are only relevant when I'm in Japan. And so I'm only in Japan like maybe once or twice a year. So when I'm not there, I'll just delete all the apps, and, I'm going next month. So then I'll probably re-download a bunch of them as well. All right. So a couple things you'll notice is that there are certain apps that I do not have on my phone, which are things like YouTube. There's no Instagram. There's no TikTok. There's no, I don't know what other things people use, X, Twitter. No social media, none of that, because I just don't want that to distract me from my life and my priorities and my goals. I've tried many things, all the, screen time blocker apps, things like that, and they sort of work, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like I always end up getting distracted in some way, and they'll end up kind of sucking away a couple hours from my life at some point. So for me, that's not worth having them accessible on my phone. And especially, I don't want to consume social media, but then also even for just like producing social media content, I don't find it worthy to keep them on my phone. I can post from my computer, but I do want to grow things like my Instagram. So I pulled up my Instagram on the browser here. I don't have that many followers now because I haven't really posted much. I haven't posted since December. So I will try to be more active on here. I have like some pictures that I've been meaning to post. So maybe I'll re-download Instagram, post some pictures, and then delete it again after that. But yeah, if you are interested in seeing more of my personal life and what I've been up to, traveling and things, you can follow me on Instagram. I think that's linked in the description. All right, so I talked about the apps that I have on my phone, but how do I actually have things set up settings-wise, layout-wise, to ensure that I maximize productivity, tune out distractions, and stay focused on my main goals and priorities in life? Well, the first thing that I have is obviously this just one-page home screen setup, and I've been rocking a one-page home screen setup for a while, but now it's gone kind of extreme. And as you can see, there are 0 apps on my actual home screen apart from these 3 apps down at the dock here. And I'm just trying to keep it as minimal as possible. 0 distractions, no shiny, colorful app buttons, notification badges and stuff that make me want to click on it. Just all I see is this lock screen focus, which is really nice because I think this honestly helps. Like when I open up my phone, unlock it, I'll just see my home screen like this, and it just says focus, and it reminds me just every time that I see it, not to get distracted and get sucked into stuff. So I would definitely suggest condensing your home screen down to just one page. And maybe you can keep a couple apps on there if you want. I used to have like a couple widgets, which were pretty nice. I definitely wouldn't have things like Instagram or YouTube or whatever on your phone in the first place, but definitely not like on your home screen where it's just always there ready for you, sucking you in to click on it. Of course, you can access other apps quickly by going into the app library, searching for them if you really need to. But so yeah, it's not like a big inconvenience or anything, but I would definitely suggest having this set up. And yeah, the wallpaper I touched on already. So I have the focus here, and then one little cool thing I did. So on the lock screen, it's focus. It says focus, but it's like blurry. So I don't know. This is kind of cool. Like now when I unlock it, it's like the focus comes into focus, like a camera focus. I don't know. I thought that was clever. It's like boom, and now it's in focus. So just some weird thing that I did that I kind of liked. That was kind of aesthetic. So that's it for the wallpaper. Another big setting that I would change is if you go to settings and search tap to wake, I think. Or is it? Yeah. So normally I think by default this is on. And so if you have your phone locked and you're just sitting here, if you just tap it, it'll turn on and you'll see your notifications or whatever. And this is just makes it so easy to just kind of open up your phone and constantly just like go on it for no reason. But by having that off, what it forces you to do, like if you're at your desk and you have your phone there or something, you can't tap it, it's not turning on. You have to actually go and like press this button to turn it on, which I really think just adds a little bit of friction that makes a big difference when it comes to kind of not being distracted by your phone. Another setting I would change is always on display. So if you search here, I think this is on by default. Basically what this does, it's some cool Apple feature where when you lock your phone, the phone screen still stays on pretty much, so you can like still see the time and stuff. Seems cool, but then this means like you're always just gonna have your phone kind of lit up at you. So I've turned this off for obvious reasons like that. I would definitely recommend you doing the same if you don't have it off already. Another thing you can do is if you go to focus mode settings, I've got do not disturb, obviously, very powerful. I try to keep it on most of the time, but you can also set a schedule here. So you can force yourself to put your phone on do not disturb, like during certain times of day, 9 to 5 if you're working then, or whenever you want to focus, you can make it so that your phone automatically turns onto do not disturb, and this will just make it so that you can take yourself out of the equation and your phone will take care of itself in terms of silencing notifications. So if I'm doing like deep focus work like I am right now with recording this YouTube video, I'll keep do not disturb on, but sometimes I will want to get certain notifications, not from most apps. So like if I go to my notification settings, I have most of them just completely off, but what I've done to kind of as like a secondary layer is I set up this other focus mode, and this I have set right now to turn on just all day, every day. And what this does is, this is the best way I found to kind of filter notifications for not just certain apps, but also certain people. So right now I just have, when this is on, I can get only notifications from these apps here. So these are like some important messaging apps, some important work-related apps, my calendar, to-do list, Calendly, that's when I do my coaching sessions and stuff through there. And then I also have it so that I can only get messages from certain contacts. So these are things like my family, my girlfriend, my video editor team and stuff like that. I can get notifications from them, but no one else can bug me besides them. So this is what I do to kind of filter out notifications. And this has made it so that like when I do get a notification, which now is, fairly rarely, I can actually know that it's something important and maybe something that I need to pay attention to, rather than just like some random app like advertising something, basically trying to ask me to come back and use their app, which is like a lot of the notifications that I feel like a lot of people get. Now, if you're scared of missing out on emergencies and that's like your excuse for not turning on do not disturb, what you can actually do is go into settings, and if you click on people, there's this setting called allow repeated calls. And if you make sure to have that on, this says that a second call from the same person within 3 minutes will not be silenced. So If someone calls you and there's an emergency, likely they would call you more than once if you don't pick up. So if they call you twice, even if you're on Do Not Disturb, it will put the call through. So you can keep that setting on for emergencies, and that should give you some peace of mind and make you feel comfortable with, turning off notifications and putting your phone on Do Not Disturb while you're trying to focus throughout the rest of the day. So I think that covers most of my phone setup. Again, my current mindset when it comes to using my phone is to really just use it as little as possible and only for the main essential functions when I really need to, and just being able to quickly do them, with quick actions like this quick note feature or something, and then just getting in, doing that, getting out, and going back to focusing on my real work, which is usually done on my laptop. I'm past the stage where I'm trying to use my phone for productive use. I think that's really just kind of coping, and it's best to just minimize your phone use altogether. So if you found this video helpful, definitely leave a comment down below, and you can ask any questions, or you can, better yet, DM me on Instagram, or School is where I'll probably respond the most to people posting in my community. So if you're not in that already, definitely join that, and I'll reply to any sort of questions you have in there. As always, do something today that your future self would thank you for.